Now tell me what's all this commotion about?
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
Reports of strong interference with radio.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show, coming to you live from both California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch, and the guy on the other end of the mic, he's my pal Denton. What's going on, bud?
Man, I'm just as excited as a little puppy at the chow bowl. I am so happy. We're going to have the guest we've been looking for.
I bet you are.
But first, breaking news from the world of insanity. Some creature named that calls itself Chelsea Manning now. We may remember him as, what was that little freak's name? Bradley Manning. Yeah, you may remember him. He's dishonorably discharged from the military. He was given a commuted sentence by Barry Obama. He gave away critical information or intelligence information. And then he decided to have a sex change operation on our dime. He is going to run for U.S. Senate out of Maryland.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's give the guy that gave away sensitive information more sensitive information.
He doesn't have the right to vote anymore, but he thinks he can go to the Senate and vote on important things up there. Now, this is going to be a sanity check for Maryland. I can't wait to see how that turns out. If they elect him, we just need to wall them off. This guy has a mental disorder. Now, if somebody's running around thinking they were Napoleon, would you give them a uniform, a horse, and tell them to go to Waterloo?
I probably would, actually.
You probably would.
Just for the comedy.
If somebody thought they were Jesus, would you give them a robe, some sandals, and tell them to go get his disciples?
No, but I'd make him make water into wine for me.
You have a good point there. Now, there's another thing that I want to point out. Other than that insanity, we didn't think about this earlier because we've been so happy and giddy that Trump's been in office and he is getting so many things done. However, you know what Pelosi's thinking? Pelosi is looking forward to taking the House of Representatives back this next election because historically that always happens. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I'll tell you what, in Alabama, it's not going to happen. And to make things better, we're going to send a man named Command Sergeant Major Tommy Amason from the 2nd District of Alabama to D.C., and it's going to be great. Sass, I'd like to introduce to you Tommy Amason. He's running for U.S. Congress out of Alabama 2nd District.
Nice to meet you, Tommy. Thanks for coming on the show.
It's all good, gentlemen.
Excellent. Okay, right off the bat, I'd like to get this out of the way. This is our Gotcha Entrapment segment of Denton and Sasquatch. Tommy, tell us about the time you molested little kids.
Wow, Denton, I can honestly tell you that I have never had any dealings of the such.
Okay, molested women, other than your wife?
Negative.
All right. Animals, molested any animals?
I have not.
Okay, is there anything that you want to drag to the light right now, right here on this show, so that everybody can know about it beforehand?
No, sir.
Excellent. Well, Sass, I think you got to keep her here.
Dan, I'm laughing so hard right now because I'm totally embarrassed by you. This man is a former military.
He's not former. He's still.
Oh, he's still in. All right, still in the military. He's a family man, and you're asking him these dumb questions.
Hey, you know they snagged Roy Moore over some trumped up crap. I just want to get it out of the way.
No, I understand. All right. Well, since we got out of the way, let's actually ask him some important stuff now. Well,
okay, we'll do that right now. Okay, Command Sergeant Major Tommy Amason. Can I just call you Tommy because that's a lot shorter?
Sure, you can. I would actually prefer that.
I appreciate that. Hey, look here. You are a Command Sergeant Major in the United States Army Reserve, correct?
I am.
Tell us about that. That's a very important part of this to me because I was in the military. My son is in the military. And, I like folks going up there that understand what the military is about.
But Denton, the best way I can explain it, it is the most rewarding position that I've ever held in the Army. I've been in a lot of different roles in a leadership position, and as a command sergeant major, your role is taking care of soldiers. And at the battalion level is where I'm at. I actually get to interact and engage with the soldiers all the time, and that's just what I like.
Now, you've been in the military for 28 years.
29.
29 years. How do you compare to? Say again?
It'll be 30 in August.
Wow, that's a long time. Well, tell me how you compare the soldiers of today from 30 years ago when you was a soldier.
Well, actually, what I'll tell you is, since the Gulf War, 91, things changed. You know, things were laid back, easy going, but soldiers have actually become soldiers. You know, we have a mission statement. We have we are still a nation at war. So we train all the time for the mission. And, you know, I'm proud to be part of that, to where I can help train the next generation of soldiers.
I'm glad you're there. Speaking of mission statements, you're running for Congress. You are not establishment minded, are you? Not
at all. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Hey, Denton, let me jump in here really quick just because you asked that question. I was looking over his website, and there's a list of things that he is about, religious freedom, veterans, Second Amendment, immigration, education, agriculture, economy, and then the very last one I loved, it says, really in really big letters, drain the swamp.
Yeah, I saw that, and I loved it too. And that's what I want to know is, what is a swamp?
Well, the swamp would be the establishment machine. It's the individuals, our political servants that operate on a different agenda than actually serving the people.
So they're going against the Constitution for their own personal and political good?
That's right, gains.
Well, this sounds like they have no ethics, morals, and principles, if you ask me.
Well, that's the way it appears anyhow. And lack of leading, lack of representation, that's just the way it appears.
And speaking of ethics, morals, and principles, if you listen to the podcast and you think the time you'll hear me mention ethics, morals, and principles, laws of nature and nature's God several times, what does the phrase ethics, morals, and principles mean to you?
Oh, that's what we should live by. That every decision we make should be based on ethics, morals. I honestly believe that in today's political society, we have too many decisions being based on left and right. More of our decisions should be based on up or down.
What do you mean by that, up or down?
Religious beliefs, good or bad.
Oh, good or bad, yes.
That's right.
And so you swore an oath to the Constitution. And I know that from talking to you earlier, that's important to you. Does it seem like today's government doesn't really pay homage, much less go by the Constitution? And do you think something should be done about that?
Well, Denton, I believe in today's political scene, it's a free-for-all. I mean, we seen in our last president's term, he actually made a lot of things happen that was not constitutional. But, nobody stood up. Nobody hollered, screamed. That's what we have to change.
And that's what got people so tired of the Republican Party until Donald Trump came along, was that it seems that the Democrats do what they want and the Republicans barely make a sound. And even when they have the Congress, both Senate and House, they don't seem to stand up and do anything to undo it.
Hey, tell me, why is that? I mean, when the Democrats had office, had control of the government, they had zero input from the Republican lawmakers. Now that we have control, dadgummit, let's get, we need to get our head out of the sand and make things happen.
Well, you ask, why is that? In my mind, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, I think that they're bought and paid for.
Well, and that was your comment earlier, and I couldn't agree. You are 100% right.
Now, yeah, exactly, self-serving. I'm looking at your issues page on your website there, and the first thing is religious freedom. It says a right that is first in the Constitution and kept safe because soldiers gave their lives to defend it. Tommy Amason will never allow the government to infringe on our religious freedoms. Do you see religious freedoms being infringed upon at this time?
Oh, sure I do. Every day, Denton. I mean, first off, why is it that just about all organizations within our borders can talk freely about political issues, but churches and religious nonprofit organizations are forbidden? Why is it that our government has placed IRS restrictions against these groups?
LBJ.
Well, right, exactly. And that's something that I will fight wholeheartedly for. That sounds like a little bit of discrimination to me.
Well, to make it even worse, I don't know if you ever noticed, I'm sure you did, but Obama, Clinton, the other Clinton, they would go to churches, the black churches, predominantly, and nobody said anything about it. And that's a politician going right into the house of worship. Well, but I don't think I've ever seen a Republican do that. Maybe they have, but it seems like it's one-sided.
That's right. That goes back to self-serving.
Now into something else real quick. Let's jump from the First Amendment to the Second Amendment. You've been in the military 29, going on 30 years. One of the things that you defend is the right to keep and bear arms. What does the Second Amendment mean to you?
Well, I'll tell you what it states. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's cut and dry, correct?
I would think so. But who is it that's a well-regulated militia member? And who are we standing well-armed against?
Government, oppressors, whatever it takes.
Foreign or domestic.
That's right.
Well, it sounds like you are in total agreement with the Founding Fathers. This is very encouraging. I like this. Another question. Now, do you have any? Would you like to follow up on anything on the Second Amendment? Do you shoot? Are you a hunter?
Hey, Denton.
Yeah.
Now, we know what the Constitution says.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the right belongs to the people. Now, you have the individual and you have the people.
Mm-hmm.
Me, you, Sasquatch, and all other legal citizens are who this is referring to.
So it's not somebody who goes and trains once a month. It's anybody from, what do they say, the militia member would be from age 16 to 60 or something like that. But anybody who is capable of carrying weapons and is legally allowed to do so. No felonies, that kind of stuff.
That's right.
All right. Now, do you shoot? Do you hunt?
Oh yeah, we are a family of law-abiding gun owners, and I have a concealed carry permit. My son has a concealed carry permit. My wife and daughter my oldest daughter have filled their apps out. They will become concealed carry permit holders. And I can tell you, Denton, that my wife and 4 children can fire as well as I can. They are excellent marksmen.
Well, that says something right there. Now, we have some Democrat lawmakers and Democrat pundits. People are trying to say that we need another amendment to do away with the Second Amendment. Do these people not understand that the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, are not amendments that can be undone? Or do you think they just think we're that stupid?
Well, I believe they think we're that stupid. And that goes back to your morals and ethics and religious beliefs. You know, it's amazing to me why they're the only people who's trying to do this. And you know, we have to have a steady, surefire grip to combat this.
In other words, we Americans need to awaken ourselves, get up to speed on the information, and stand against them. That's right. I'm 100% with you on that too. Now we know where Donald Trump stands on immigration. He made that very clear when he's running. Are you in agreement with Donald Trump as far as immigration? What is your take on immigration?
My take on immigration, look, before we give immigrants citizenship, we should ensure that they bring something to the table. You know, whether that's a skill or a trade, what we've got to be careful not to do is just to hand those out like candy, to where we let people come in, give them citizenship, and they depend on welfare. We need to ensure that America is getting something for their money.
Would you look at it along with that? What about people who want to bring countering ideologies with them? As a matter of fact, ideologies that run in opposition to our constitutional ideas.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
How do we vet that?
You vet it by telling them they want to come to the U.S. We have a set of laws. We have a culture, and if they want to come to the U.S., then they need to be willing to adapt to our culture and our laws.
Now, this one right here is something that Sasquatch and I, well, usually Sass and I kind of share the same brain. But on this, he's pretty militant in one direction, and I'm trying to be the kind of a humanitarian approach to it. The DACA kids, and I say kids, actually, what, they're in the 20s and 30s as well. What do you suggest we do about those?
We need to end DACA completely. That is my firm belief. Look, as a Christian, I want to help everyone. But let me ask you this way. If a man goes out and steals a bicycle, he gives that bicycle to his child. Well, the owner sees that child riding that bicycle, calls the police. The police going to come. Are they going to let that child keep that bicycle because it's a child, or are they going to take that bicycle back?
Well, they're going to beat the kid up and take the bike back. Kidding.
Exactly.
That's a great analogy, though. I like that.
Well, now here's where I don't really agree with it, and the reason why is it's not a bicycle; it's a kid that was brought over here it's not in accordance with this will or against this will, but it was a kid, let's say 3 or 4 years old. He's grown up in this country. He knows our language. He doesn't know the first thing about his former nation, the one I guess he's still a citizen. How do we reintroduce such people back into their country of origin? Or do we even see it as a problem for our country?
Well, in Denton, I'm just telling you how I believe that child or that young adult, whatever the given age, they have to square that away with their parents. Their parents broke the law. I can't be held responsible. My children can't be held responsible. Now, a solution to this, once integrated back to their home country, then we need to get rid of the lottery system and all that. Yeah. Now, those children, young adults, they can apply just the legal method we have, and depending on age or skill wise, they should have first choice to be able to come back.
Well, you just sit over there with Sasquatch now, okay? Because you two are a lot more black and white on this, but you know what? You do make a great argument, and you're making me reconsider what I'm thinking. So you did a good job as far as Sasquatch is concerned, because he's been trying to convince me for quite a while.
That's right.
Now, Sasquatch, you did good.
Thank you. See, Denton, I'm right. You're wrong.
Well, it's not the first time somebody said I was wrong. No big deal.
I'm moving to Alabama just so I can vote for this man.
Well, do it. Come on, Cletus. Okay, education. Tommy, what do you see as a problem with education?
Well, first off, what I'll tell you is my family, we have a lot of educators within our family. My two oldest daughters, one graduated college 2 years ago, and she's an educator in Meridian, Mississippi. The next graduated from Troy University this last May, and she's an educator. Now, we have multiple family members that are educators, principals, so on, so forth. My wife and I, we have homeschooled. We've had 2 children graduate from private school, and when my youngest daughter graduates at the end of next year, we will have 2 graduated from public school. So we know a little bit about the different variations of school. Now, the federal government needs to remove its hold on education. How does the federal government know? And Sasquatch, I don't mean anything by this, but children here in Alabama don't need to learn the same things that children in California need to learn.
We don't need any Pelosi values here.
I understand that.
So Common Core, we have to get it out. And you have state, you have local, you have community leaders. Who better knows how to teach these kids than the ones who deal with them on a day-to-day basis?
I would say as local to the government as you can get.
That's right.
Yeah, give the power back to the states and to the cities, and let them decide what's best for their schools.
That's right, exactly. And in doing that, we have to fund these schools. Now, if those funds are misspent, or they're not allocated in the right direction, then that state's got to be held responsible. That county's got to be held responsible. That city school's got to be held responsible. It's not for the government to put restrictions on, you have to do this to get this amount of funding. that's junk. I'm just about sick and tired of Alabama being 51 or 52 on every list that comes out. We can do better.
Oh, we're always ahead of Mississippi.
Well, exactly. On most things.
So would you be in favor of getting rid of the Department of Education and send that federal money that's spent on that particular agency, which has been a gross mistake, and send the money back to the states so they can spend money on education themselves?
That would be something I would be willing to discuss, yes.
Now, that kind of segues on something else just popped in my head. With the federal government directly taxes the citizens of the states, takes the money from the citizens, takes it straight on to D.C., and the states have to tax the same citizens. Well, most of them. I mean, you got Texas and Florida and a couple more, but you get the point, is that the citizens are getting pickpocketed from the feds right off the bat, and then the money's held over the states' heads. Would you be in favor of doing like what Donald Trump wanted to do? And I would think that it's a Constitution Party type thing. Just gut all these agencies. If it's an unconstitutional agency, gut it and give the money saved back to the states so that the states can handle things themselves rather than the federal government being the big brother for everybody.
Right now, Denton, we have a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse, and that would solve a lot of problems, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Did you see where they found several $1 million worth of Black Hawk helicopters that were mislogged on the books?
No.
I read about this last week. I mean, they can't even keep up with the stuff that they have. When you lose a Black Hawk, my goodness. And that was only one of the things. I don't know why they couldn't have lost a Black Hawk and left it in my backyard. I love Black Hawks. I work on them.
Hey, it sounds like to me they need to have a property book officer refresher course.
No doubt. So you agree that we need to tighten up, if nothing else. We need strict controls of the money that's spent, because they spend like drunken sailors. No offense to any sailors listening.
That's right. Then
and I believe we could spend it better here in the States. We know what we need.
Sure we could.
Now, one of the things that we need here in Alabama, as a matter of fact, we need across the country, is agriculture. Tom Amason will fight ever-increasing, overreaching regulations that threaten the farming industry in Alabama. Could you explain that?
Yeah, Dan, we produce a lot of row crops in southeast Alabama is the majority, and they range anywhere from peanuts to soybeans to cotton to corn, and the farmers have so many regulations placed on them. Okay, let's just take case in point. You have DDT, who our farmers cannot use DDT anymore. DDT was a pesticide when sprayed on the plants would kill anything that ever touched the plant. Now, the problem with DDT is when you spray it, the worm comes, the worm gets on the plant, the worm dies. The bird comes down, eats the worm, the bird dies. Well, the cat comes along, or coyote, whatever, eats the bird, the coyote dies. So the issue is Argentina, Brazil, South American countries, they don't have those regulations. So where we have farmers that's getting $300 a ton for peanuts, but because of the certain regulations installed, our farmers have $175, $200 a ton in that product, to where the South American countries, they don't have the regulations, and they have $50 a ton. Our farmers cannot compete, and that's something we have to fix. Now, whether it's putting tariffs on the imports of the products coming in, we have to even the playing field for our farmers.
I remember that when the DDT was being outlawed, you couldn't swing a dead cat at the TV set without hitting some news segment about how the bald eagle is eating the worms, and it's getting DDT in them, and it was causing the eggs to get fragile, and we were going to lose a bald eagle because of the easily cracked eggs. So the bird would just sit on the egg, and bam, it cracked.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in places like Africa, where DDT is banned, it's been banned all around, malaria has jumped through the roof because they can't kill the mosquitoes. But what you're talking about is the same thing as for the Paris Accords, where this is what everybody's going to do, except for you, United States. We're going to hold you to more accountable positions, and you're going to pay other people for their inability to keep up with what you can do. And you're saying that because we banned DDT, south of the border countries are able to sell their stuff. We're getting run out of business, in other words.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's just because of that. I'm just saying that the playing field isn't even.
And if it's not an even playing field, it's not nowhere near a fair playing field.
Exactly.
So we're going to go back over here. On the economy, I already touched on it once, but lower taxes, less regulations, and more jobs. These are all important positions that Tommy Amason will fight for. So I was about to use the trickle-down word, which is a BS word created by the Democrat politicians back during Reagan days. But you want to touch on that, please?
Yeah, Denton, the free market works. Free market works well when small business thrives. Small businesses can't thrive with so many regulations placed on them. We have to lessen the burden on these regulations so the small businesses can thrive. We have to lower taxes. Well, if you've got more money in your check, you're happy, correct?
No, I'm going to the gun store.
Yeah, exactly. So when a business and look, when a business has more money, they're going to hire more employees. They're going to give more raises. I mean, it's just a trickle-down effect. And regulations play a huge part in this.
You're right.
Regulations.
Yeah, it sounds like you're right on the money with Donald Trump.
I sure hope I am.
Well, he can sure use some help up there. Now, as you heard earlier, as with the beginning of the show, Nancy Pelosi is just giddy, thinking that the Democrats are going to take the House of Representatives back. What do you think about that? Do you think they have a chance? I mean, historically speaking, they will take it back. What do we need to do to stop that? From what I read, the Republicans have no clue how to stop it.
Well, all I can tell you is I'm with you. I truly hope that doesn't happen. And that's what I'm doing, Denton. I'm out here trying to keep that from happening. Personally, I don't believe it'll happen. Look at what happened in Georgia in June. Democrats spent $51 million on one House seat and lost. 51. You know how many homeless vets we could house with that? $51 million. And, this seat that I'm running for, it's been targeted by the Democrats because of last year's election or the last election. And they can waste their money, but I don't believe it's going to happen.
Well, I don't believe a Democrat's going to beat you, but you're going to have to move Martha Robbie aside.
Well, she may have helped us.
How so?
First of all, Denton, she didn't stand behind her party's nomination for the United States presidency. And the veterans, I'm going to tell you, there was a Veterans Administration town hall in Dothan, Alabama 2 weeks ago, two or 3 weeks ago. I've actually built a Veterans Advisory Board, and one of the members went down to this town hall and took a lot of notes for me. And they are just up in arms about the representation of veterans issues. And that's something that's near and dear to my heart. And I mean, look, I am a veteran. So.
Now, you told me something yesterday that just lit my fire big time. Do you remember somebody saying something about suck it up, buttercup, or something to that effect?
I do. There was this young couple. They sent me a post on my Facebook page. Now, they live just a couple of miles to the west of our district line, and they informed me that they contacted our congresswoman with issues that the husband, you know, he's a recently redeployed soldier, and he's got medical issues, and he's fighting issues with the VA, and they contacted Martha, and I was told that they were told to just about pound sand. And I just, you know, from my perspective, I don't care if that person lives in my district, in a district in Mississippi, or if they're in Sasquatch's district. That soldier, that individual, deserves a response, deserves help. That's what I plan on doing.
Well, you know, Alabama is strong about the military, and you know the area I live in, we are the military down here. And that kind of crap will not go over well at all. And it's a shame that 2nd District House of Representatives right now would be that way. I don't know what to say. Sass, do you know what to say about something like that?
It's pretty disgusting that we treat our veterans that way.
Yeah, as somebody who is elected by veterans, we're going to have to do something about that. And I think Tommy is going to be the one to do something about that. I think he's going to go all the way. Hey, Tommy, what do you think about serving us as we the people, and then go serve the state in the Senate?
We're not going there, Denton.
Oh, come on. Hey, I've got big plans for you. And full disclaimer, I'm 100% behind Tommy Amason. As a matter of fact, a few days ago, I was supposed to have been in Dothan for a meeting, but I'm having not feeling awful well, put it that way. And so I couldn't make it. But Tommy, you're still going to let me work for you, aren't you?
Sure, I am.
All right, good. Just because I missed one meeting, Command Sergeant Major, don't give me an Article 15.
You are good people.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And you're the kind of people we need up there. And we're going to put you up there if it hairlips everybody back on Bear Creek. Tommy, is there anything you'd like to talk about now? Just off the cuff.
I'll tell you what, I would like to cover something if you know, you was right a while ago. We have a lot of veterans within our district. We are the only district in the state that has the full-time active duty installations. And outside of that, you know, we have a lot of retirees, and there's a lot of issues, Denton. At that Veterans Administration hosted town hall in Dothan, and these are quarterly now, and they go from area to area. So it's not always held in Dothan. There's one in Montgomery, and I'm sure they're across the state as well. But it is just amazing the issues that came back from this meeting. The number one issue was that the veterans in attendance could not believe that a representative of the Congresswoman's office was not in attendance. they just couldn't believe it. I mean, and what they say is over and over for the last several years, the same issues have been brought forward and nothing seems to be getting done about it. One issue that's just staggering is VA phone centers. Now, these people call, and a lot of times they're put on hold. Now, they said that a lot of times they're on hold for over an hour. The VA rep that was there at this town hall, he actually admitted that some lines, the VA call center now, that some lines go to a black hole. They don't even ring in the VA office. That's absurd. You know, we have to fix that, Denton. That's what I aim to do.
The people that stood up to be counted are being treated this way.
That's right. Exactly.
As Sass said, that's just totally disgusting.
Hey
Sass, how are we doing on time, Sass?
We're good.
Okay, good. Cut you off there, Tommy. What was you going to say?
I was just going to say, Denton, you know, I'm not sure that a lot of people realize this, but less than 1% of the nation's population serve this country. Less than 1%. Now, there's so many people across this country that don't even know a member of the armed forces, don't have family members, don't have friends, so forth, so on. And these people, you, me, you know, veterans, we deserve better.
Yeah, that's an amazing number right there, because you live in Alabama. You know, everywhere you go run into a veteran. And even so, when you go in the military, you know as well as I do, that you meet people from all over the country. It's kind of hard to believe this. There's so few of us.
That's right.
Well, look here. I got one more thing, and this is going to be kind of a personal thing. But we all know that adversity is what builds up a man. How do you make your muscles strong? You use them. Leanne, your wife, is telling me that you have a stutter. Now, you're a command sergeant major. Not everybody aspires to be a command sergeant major one day if they're going to stay in the military, but very, very, very few people ever make it a first sergeant, much less command sergeant major. Yet you did this with a stutter. How hard was this? It had to have been mind-blowingly hard, if you ask me, because communication is part of the NCO chain's responsibility.
It is, Denton, but when you've grown up with it and you've lived with it your whole life, it just becomes another thing. You know, what I've taught my kids is if you believe in something hard enough and you work hard enough towards something, anything can happen.
So it's just built you up that much more.
That's right. Now, I tell you, and I don't like talking about it. I don't like discussing it because I don't let it hold me back. Now, I do worry at times what other people think about it, and really I shouldn't. And I was going to tell y'all at the beginning of this that you may have to wait on me for a second to get a word out or the first letter to stumble through it. But if y'all wanted it to flow easy, pristine, that we all three need to get together. Let me put you at parade rest. Let me get knee deep in your rear end, and everything will be great.
I wasn't even in the military, and I understand exactly what you just said.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't care how long it takes you to say what you got to say. I'd rather hear you say it than hear Pelosi or Schumer or McConnell or never mind. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
And so, as a matter of fact, it'll be great to have you up there so you could play some of those individuals, going to keep it clean here, some of those individuals in a front-leaning rest position. For you civilians who don't know what that is, imagine doing a push-up in the beginning position of a push-up and stay there for, I don't know what would you say, Tommy, an hour?
until their arms give out.
There you go. Maybe that'll give them time to think of how stupid they are up there. Tommy, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming here. Look here. You're going to be a regular, I hope.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back.
What'd you say, Sass?
I said we'd love to have him back.
Oh, big time. We need updates. We want your opinion on things that's going on in the nation as we go along. Feel free to use us. And don't worry about, you can say whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter because we have no sponsors. We do this because we love it. And there ain't nobody that can tell us we can't say something except for our own ethics, morals, and principles.
And see, that's where we've got to get to. As a nation as a whole, it's like there's only one side doing that. And we've got to quit being so, I guess you would say timid. We have to start voicing our side and our opinion just like we're being voiced too.
Well, absolutely. We're afraid of hurting somebody's feelings, but do they say anything about hurting our feelings? They don't care.
That's exactly right.
Tommy, I appreciate you being here. You're going to be on here many more times. You are going to go to, when you go to D.C., are you still going to call us?
Sure I am.
Excellent, because one of the things that aggravates me is we get people up there, and it used to be that you would once in a while you get postcards or letters from your House of Representatives, your senators. Don't even see that anymore.
That's right.
And so we want you to tell us what's going on, keep us informed, and tell us what we need to do to help you get the job done. Tommy Amason, everybody, 2nd District House of Representatives from Alabama. He's going to be there. Bye-bye, Martha Roby.
Denton?
Yes, sir.
I sure appreciate the time. I enjoyed the conversation, and you two guys are absolutely great.
Brother, we appreciate it. You have a good night. We'll talk to you later, okay?
You as well. Thanks.
Sasquatch, you've now met Command Sergeant Major Tommy Amason. What do you think?
I kind of feel like I should drop and give him 20.
I don't think he'll be selling for 20. He's 30 years in the military. He remembers the days when you just kept on until somebody got tired, and it was going to be you. Or somebody just got bored watching you.
He sounds like a good guy. I'm excited. I hope definitely hope he wins.
So now, do you want more people like him in California, or do you want to just come on over to Alabama?
I say my prayers every night that we get more people like him in California. But unfortunately, I may just have to come to Alabama.
And that's the same, too, because California used to be a proud red state.
Very true. Oh, real quick, you know what? If you'd like to get more information on Tommy Amason, you can go to his website, TommyAmason.com. That's TommyAmason. Or if you would like to email us here at the show, you can do so by emailing dentonandsasshow@gmail.com.
Or you can always go to prepperforms.net, where we talk about all things end of worldish. And if you're into guns, and I hope you are, you can go to taurusarmed.net, where we talk about Taurus weapons as well as every other weapon you want to talk about. It's great. We have a lot of fun. A lot of smart people there as well, and at prepperformance.net too. I've learned a lot at both places. But hey, Sass.
Yes, sir.
We've just had a great time with Tommy Amason. I think he's going to do great things in D.C., but you realize at the end of the day, he's just one man, and I still stick to my idea that we are quite doomed as a nation and a world. So what should we do?
Drink up.
Good night, everybody.
Sweet home.